This is the way to use it.
Now we're live.
Oh, now we're live.
Yeah.
Okay.
See?
Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone. So we're here with Margaret of Paper Pastries to talk about L.W.A. Margaret, do you want to
My book
introduce?
covers. Nice.
Oh, yeah, your book cover's way nicer.
That is really nice.
Okay.
Margaret, would you like to introduce yourself to people who may not know who you are?
Sure. I'm Margaret. I live in L.A. I have a company called Paper Pastries. I'm a proud member of the Letter Writers Alliance. And I love mail. And I love my cats. Milchie is sneezing in the corner. It's kind of hard to see her.
Aww.
Milchie, wake up, baby girl. She's like, leave me alone. Oh, my God.
We have. I'm so jealous that you actually are able to take your cats with you to your studio and work. Because our cats would be like, no, God, no, God, no.
No. And then they would proceed to eat all of our product, probably.
Yeah. Sure. Well, it
terrible.
actually hasn't happened in a while because I had to take Otto to the vet, and he used to just willingly get in the carrier, but ever since the vet visit, he was like, hell no, that's not going to happen. And it's hard because Milchie gets in, and she's like, let's go to work now, like, so I can lay in the sun somewhere else. And he doesn't want to go anymore, and I tried to separate them, but as soon as I got her outside, he was howling.
Oh.
So I haven't taken them in a while.
Oh.
I guess we should start with general thoughts. Did you like the book?
I did like the book. When I first started reading it, the vocabulary in it, I thought they were much older. I wish that we had been able to know how old Ella and Tassie were when I first started reading the letters, because when I found out they were 19 and 18, it really reminded me of... Did you guys watch Dawson's Creek?
No, never.
Yeah,
well, aren't they like 23-year-olds playing?
Oh, God. Well, the whole thing in Dawson's Creek, you know, they like live in this New England town, and they're very smart, and they're studying for the SATs. So their regular teenage conversations have lots of SAT words in them. So it really reminded me of like New England, even though it's like supposed to be off the coast of South Carolina.
Yeah.
Did you like it, Kathy?
I did like it, and then the first 2 pages, I was like, wait a minute, does this island actually exist? So I have to look it up. It doesn't exist. No, but for a second, I was like, if this island exists, I want to move here. This sounds amazing. And then quickly did not want to move there because of all the shit that goes down.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Did you like it, Julian?
I did like it. I didn't know a lot about it when we started it, and I was pleasantly surprised by its location because, I mean, that's where I grew up, and so I knew immediately there was no such place. But Orangeburg is a place. Orangeburg shows up. Orangeburg was the place I had to go to for my orthodontia.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
But, yeah, no, I liked it a lot. I find myself, the things that take place in the book made me so anxious and so, like, concerned about what was going on and so upset that I really actually would have much more enjoyed a book just, like, about, I don't know, the romances that were blossoming in the village.
Right.
Like, I could have read a total fluff book about this place because the place was so interesting. I didn't need it.
It's time for you to get into fan fiction from L.W.A. Like,
oh my god, that'd be amazing if there's fan fiction for L.W.A.
It would just be letters.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
yeah. Sounds pretty easy to do, actually.
Yeah. I always get library books, so all my notes are like in these little Post-it notes, so I don't write up the library book. And my first note is using Z for no reason. That's awesome. Like just adding it in, like dear cuz and all that kind of stuff. I thought was really cool. And I like that she uses PS and PPS. Although I do PSS, not PPS.
You should do it's. Because the P stands for post.
Whatever.
Oh, also, I was confused because I didn't know what time it was. But then they said that they don't even have internet or computers, so I figured like at least around the 90s, late 90s.
Well, I would assume it's when it was published, right? So that was
Early 2000s, right?
2001. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh my gosh, dude, awesome design with this stuff, like showing which letters aren't. And I liked how they showed it not only in the letters, but also in the sentence, the quick brown fox, right? I thought that was really well done.
I got the book out of the library, but then I was out of town, and I had to keep renewing it so many times. So I actually just got it on the Kindle, so it's not as cute as the real book.
Oh, that's a bummer. But wait, the Kindle doesn't show the little letters?
No, it does.
Oh, okay.
I liked how like each page was like a whole letter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I ordered mine. You know, when we set up the book club, August was really far away.
Right. Yeah.
Really far. And I think last week before, Kathy's all, we have a book club, and I was like, oh, we have a book club. I should read that. So I ordered it. I tried to go to the local bookshop, and there's some other L.W.A.
there is. Yeah.
That they tried to sell me, and I was like, this is not. I don't think this is right.
Dude, how'd you guys find this, or who recommended it?
It was recommended last book club, and I can't remember who recommended
Anna
it.
recommended it.
Was it Anna?
I think so.
Okay, maybe it was her. It was either her or someone else who was like watching at the time. So, yeah, and because I've never heard of it before, and when I first started reading it, I was like, oh my god, really big vocabulary.
See, I loved it. I was all about. I love it when I have to look up a word. Because then I'm learning.
Yeah. I started it at the wrong time because I was like, it was like a really, really long day at work, and I was in bed when I started it, and I was just like, I don't want to think. But then I quickly got sucked in. So.
Yeah, I mean, then it changes because the letters leave. It changes. It changes in tone. It's so funny how it becomes more clever with just one or two letters missing, and then it just devolves.
Right.
Letters that you
I found it very hard to read the last few letters that were spelled phonetically. I had to say it out loud a couple times, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was really glad that part of the story didn't last that long because I was like, man, that's really hard. And then I was also wondering, like, why didn't they start just using numbers? Like A would be 1, you know?
Code,
yeah. Wait, she did do some sort of loophole.
They talk about using numbers, but it didn't make a ton of sense.
Right, and they never get to that point.
No. Someone used a loophole. I wrote a note here on page 109 that love this loophole. I don't know what it was. Oh, that they're using children.
Under 7.
Loophole. Yeah. I thought that was really cool, like that the kids would deliver the letters, the kids would write the things out. I thought that was really cool.
I didn't think it was very clear how they were communicating to the children what they should write out, though.
Yeah.
Because if they can't say it, and the kid probably doesn't know how to spell it.
Well, but of course, they're all citizens of this incredibly vocabulary-rich island, so maybe they're just better than the rest of us.
They sure sound like it.
I had to look up the word, I might say it wrong, caesura, which it's C-A-E-S-U-R-A, and it means a pause in a sentence. I was like,
I had to look that up too. I remember now. Yeah, I didn't know what that was.
I think that was the only one I actually looked up.
Oh man, it's really easy on the Kindle because it has a cursor.
Oh yeah, that you can just look up real quick.
And it shows the definition at the bottom.
Yeah.
Up.
I'm someone who doesn't look up definitions. Like I don't know. I'm terrible. I should. I have a note here that says this makes me sad, and I think it's when the dad started drinking again.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is freaking depressing, man.
I was really upset by this book.
Yeah.
I was like, these people are insane.
Yes.
Rise up.
Right.
Well, there's only like how many people are on the council? 5?
Yeah.
There's just 4 of them you need to contain.
It's actually kind of interesting that they they didn't use violence though.
Yeah.
In the end, to win,
They
they
did.
used words, which I thought was cool.
The L.W.A way.
Yeah.
Right.
And I also really liked that we got notes that were left in the house, like on the fridge.
Yes.
I thought that was super cute.
Is there a group chat for this?
Yeah, we have a chat.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did we tell people where to go for the chat?
So if you go to, there isn't a chat in the Google event page, but if you go to letterwritersalliance.org and then
to our event there.
Yeah,
and
to
then
the
to
event.
the live event page there.
There's a
You should
chat
find
window on the side, and it's all active and open for you to talk to us if you want to, or you can tweet at us or Margaret. So
Hashtag L.W.A book club. Crazy. Okay. Favorite part? Anybody?
well, Margaret was saying something before
Oh,
you
okay.
interrupted her.
Sorry.
Dude.
No, it's okay. I wrote a couple quotes down, and the first one that really stood out to me is in the Cousin Cassie letter. I think it's in the it might be the first couple of pages. She says, "We are well-educated, well-versed, and well-spoken people. We are a nation of letter writers. Do you honestly believe that Mr. Nollop would allow his fellow islanders to see their language so diminished? The council is wrong. My point, stand on principle to choose to use the letter if I so wish it were, or to choose to not. Such is my right. And it's now to be eradicated by the stroke of the High Council pen." So she's telling, or no, Ella is writing this to her cousin Tassie because she's been out of town, and already it's like, this is a big deal. This isn't cool. Like, where is this going to end? So already she has that kind of combative, questioning authority spirit, and I was surprised by her first letter by how long it took her to act on it. If she already was feeling like that at the letter Z
Beginning.
on, like it wasn't until months later that the family started having those secret meetings at their house. Like, she was talking about it a lot, but it wasn't acting. But I mean, I guess it's the same thing. Like, it made me think about McCarthyism, the Red Scare, especially in Hollywood, like, oh, well, this seems wrong, but if the government says it's okay, it must be okay. Go along with it. You're a part of it. You're contributing to it. If no one contributed to it, it wouldn't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So just,
I'm glad that you brought up McCarthyism, because I was thinking more like the war in Europe kind of thing, and I was like, you know what, it's not that extreme, but McCarthyism is pretty spot on how, like, the level that it was at, I think.
Like the people reporting on other people.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the one thing that really made me think of that is, I can't remember, I think it was still from a further letter, but further in the book, from Ella to her cousin, neighbor turning in neighbor, perpetuating old grudges and grievances with this new weapon unleashed upon us by the High Island Council. Mum holds tightly to Pop, and I watch them trying to feel what once came so soft and easy, all because of this tiny Nollop-cursed letter. I have yet to fully understand its awesome power, but I am fast understanding.
Yeah.
Like, that's what made me think of the Red Scare and everything, how crazy it was.
Yeah. The girl was super eloquent and, like, wrote a lot older than what she was, and I liked that, but yeah, I kept being, like, scared for them, and it was a nerve-wracking book to read.
Well, come on, the 3 strikes, it's like reprimand, it's like, that's fair. It's like lashing, it's like, no, that's not cool.
Like, you guys jump real far there. Like, maybe
Right.
you could write some lines or something. Like,
What about a fine? Or like, say, right, lashing was extreme, and then obviously, of course, banishment or death is the fair third.
Yeah, that was really weird, 3 strikes, but I guess, it advanced it very quickly.
yeah, it moves the plot along.
It moves the plot along real quick. And it's so funny because there's all these other things that I didn't even consider. Like, if people are leaving or people are being banished, then that means grocery stores and farms and all these things aren't being tended to. And that grocery store guy, that made me so sad too.
Yeah, Rory.
And then when the woman who reported in her other people when her family started going away, that's when she started singing a different tune.
Yeah,
Which I thought was interesting. Yeah.
I did feel bad for her in the end.
I did too, especially because she started getting super frantic in the end. And it's like, where are you?
Well, she went nuts.
Yeah.
More nuts.
Oh yeah, yeah. She went crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I would like to just read about these guys having a nice picnic or something.
Right. Like when they talk about their sunsets and how cute the island was.
Right.
I'd like to see this village.
There's one where Nash Togate wrote to Miss Percy about like where she was like, why did you report my aunt? Like she's a public figure and it's really hard for her to teach these kids. And like my note was seriously asshole.
Fair.
I was like, I can't even that this guy's response is like, well, I'm sorry you're not taking this seriously, and whatever. And then towards the end, I started trying to figure out like, man, what would be if I was...
You start trying to think of a sentence that would work. Yeah.
I can do it.
Sure you could. I mean, I haven't tried, but like, I'm sure we could.
Yeah.
I'm curious as if to know. So it ends with the like letter from Orangeburg with these were the mechanically created sentences, and one of the sentences was the sentence that they even came up with.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know if a computer actually compiled those, or if the author, those were the ones the author could come up with. Because I would really like to know.
Yeah.
Good question. Yeah, I don't know. Can we get him on the phone?
Yeah, we should have.
I bet
Write him a letter.
Yeah.
Great.
What's weird is that I remember reading that letter from the dad and going, that's a really weird sentence. And then I didn't think anything else about it.
Me too. It's like, Dad's a weirdo, he's off the wagon, like, just let it slide.
Yeah.
He makes miniature dollhouse ceramics as a job.
Was it dollhouses?
Yeah, he makes little miniature ceramics.
I didn't
My 5 dozen looker jokes.
Right,
Yeah.
that was his job when he couldn't find work as a carpenter.
Yeah.
And I guess like they all had old-timey jobs that have been around forever. Like she was a laundress. And what was the mom? Did the mom have a job? Ella's mom?
I don't think so. I know her aunt was a school teacher. Yeah.
And what did Cassie?
I don't think Cassie had a job either.
No, she did.
She used to work in the library, but then the library closed.
Oh yeah, the library closed.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you know what? I just saw something here. Let me see. Who's Tassie's letter to Nate, which is he was so cute. Oh,
Tassie and Nate forever.
She wrote, P.S. The
Mephistylians
live here, not in the Orient. You will get my meaning later. Do we find that out later? Because I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know she's referencing Mephistopheles, as in like the devil, but I mean, they're bad people.
That's maybe what she's saying.
Yeah. I really expected a Scooby-Doo turn. I was surprised that we didn't find out that the council members that were really gung-ho, Nollipism, whatever, that they weren't actually in collusion to just sell off the island.
They were. Oh, you mean the whole island?
Yeah. Because it talks, in the very beginning, it talks about how there had been offers on the island and they wanted to make it into a cruise resort. But they honestly, like, have a sort of religious thing with they're just like, all right, we accept that the sentence is fine now and everybody can talk normal the end.
Right.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I came up with some discussion questions. Maybe you guys can answer them. I made some questions that I myself can answer.
Okay.
That's what reminded me of it. Nollip's residents are a highly verbal people. What does the council have to gain by restricting their language?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my question. I was just like, I really thought we were gonna have the whole I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids.
Right. I was also expecting some of the council members themselves to be vanquished.
Little was. Wasn't he? Like the guy that sort of like goes to their side?
No, he was still intact because they said at the end that all of them gave up their seat on the council except Little, right?
Well, because he turned to the good side.
Hmm.
He like joined Operation 32.
Right, Enterprise.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, so I think the problem is that when the Z fell off, they just were like, well, it's just the Z, it's no big deal, right? And then
it's a sign from Nala.
Right, but they weren't expecting all the stupid tiles to fall. So I don't know if they had anything to gain originally by just being like, oh, you know, this is a sign, and let's flex our muscles. And then as it kept falling, they can't be like, oh, let's just backpedal here. We were wrong. Admitting you're wrong is like not going to happen. It's one of the most difficult things, you know.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, that's a fair point.
So I mean, that's what I would think. Like, because yeah, you're saying that they didn't use it to sell off the island,
which would make sense.
Right, which would have made sense. And then I think that them picking up all those buildings from the people who left was like not their intent originally. It just happened to be a pleasant side effect of people leaving.
I'm gonna upgrade my house.
Right. Yeah. Although, didn't they kick someone out?
Rory, they were like, this is now annexed to Temple for Nala.
His land, yeah. And that's they also renounced God in that same sentence.
Yeah. I thought it was cool that when they did get the sentence, that the dad did the sentence, that Ella was like, no, we don't want any statue. Like, it would have been so easy for her to get power hungry, or the dad to get power hungry from it, you know? And they didn't, which I thought was pretty cool.
I like Margaret has discussion questions.
Oh yeah, more discussion questions, because I'm tweeting them out.
Oh, okay, cool. This one's kind of long. Do you want me to type it so you can cut and paste it? I think
sure.
It's more than.
I mean, I'll type it while you're saying it. Ask it to the.
Oh, okay. This book is very unique in that it is entirely written in letters or notes. Why do you think the author chose to write it that way instead of in a typical narrative novel fashion?
My theory is that the author is a very clever goose and wants to show that he can perform the action of removing letters from his writing. Like, I think the way the book is presented is very important to what is going on in the story.
Right. It is. Because I don't know of any other book that's written just with letters. Of course, there's tons of books that have narrative and then the letters or excerpts from the letters, but I don't know any other book that's entirely written in letters and notes.
Entirely in letters?
Yeah, isn't that what's her face?
Oh, yeah,
that lady.
Yeah, Lady Susan is written entirely in letters. That's a Jane Austen novella.
I never.
If you want to hate someone real bad, read Lady Susan. You just want to throw the book across the room. It's terrible.
Okay.
Like, whoa, Lady Susan is such a B word.
You know, it's bad when Kathy won't curse about something. Like, she'll just say the epithet for a curse, and it's real bad.
You know, so I was actually thinking about this myself, and because I was considering, like, okay, if someone wanted to make this into a movie, how would you make this into a movie? I think about that a lot for books, just in terms of, like, why they made decisions on certain types of things in the book. And could you imagine trying to write scenes where you couldn't say words, but then you couldn't really express the struggle of not saying those things?
Well, we would have answered for us how exactly they got across their point to the 7-year-old children.
But maybe that's the thing. Maybe the author didn't want to spoon feed us a lot of stuff. Like
Yeah,
there's a lot of
figure it out.
yeah, there's a lot of scenes that now don't have to get written because we aren't the third person or whatever. I can't remember what the writing style is for being the omnipresent.
I don't know.
I can't remember that. Hi, I'm married to an English teacher, and I don't know that. Awesome! Yeah, like, the scene in the schoolhouse, I don't know if I would want to read the aunt getting, like, tongue-tied in front of students. Getting it through letters makes an uncomfortable, stressful story a little bit more palatable, I think.
Maybe. It was still really stressful.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Yes, it was stressful.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
I mean, I was thinking that it was a great way to show that even though you're taking away, basic human rights, freedom of speech, and that even though you take that away, there's the public or the people are still going to find ways to communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you can also be more careful in your letters
than
you can in speech.
I thought it was really sad that there were people that were just like, I'm not even going to talk anymore.
Right. They just give up. It's like...
Yeah. And then, was it Ella that was like, I will learn sign language, or was it Tassia?
Yeah, I think it was Ella, because she was like, I'm not leaving no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm going to write in numerals. I'm going to learn sign language. Like, I'm not leaving my home.
Yeah. So, Sarah, response to your first discussion question about what does the council have to gain, was absolute power corrupts absolutely, so no real gain other than power.
Just like they were on a power trip.
Yeah, basically. Which I could totally see that. They're like, it's kind of like how, kings were back in the day, where it's like, well, I am representing God. God chose me to be the king, and therefore any of my actions are from God, right? So then maybe that's how the council saw it. It was like, well, we're acting from...
We're doing Nalop's will.
Yeah.
Mm.
We are the right hand of Nalop. Damn it. And then Ronald said to why letters was that he thought that the author was going for maximum punnage, a novel of letters in letters.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So.
I actually, before I picked it up, I knew it was about the alphabet and like losing different parts of the alphabet, but I didn't know it was going to be an epistolary novel. So I was surprised and pleasantly so. I like epistolary novels.
Yeah, like you actually said to me, why did you choose this book? Because it has nothing to do about letters. And I was like, I swear to God, it has something to do about letters.
Yeah, I was just like, it's just this town that can't use the alphabet.
Yeah.
No, okay. Makes sense now.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any other discussion questions since you planned way better than us?
I do have a couple. What was that noise? Was that on your end? Is that just this computer? It had like a chime thing.
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it. You're going crazy.
Probably just this weird computer I'm on.
Yeah.
My next question. The council plays God by claiming to know Nalop's wishes from beyond the grave. Why is that worrisome?
Well, because how do you prove that?
How do you disprove it?
Well, I'm not good at this, but there's an excellent essay by Carl Sagan all about the invisible dinosaur in my garage, which is a metaphor for religious thought and, arguing for it and against it. And I'm no good at that because I just can't think that way. But it's good, and everyone should read it.
What is it called?
It's called The Invisible Dinosaur in My Garage, but it's out of the book The Demon Haunted World.
Oh, okay.
By Carl Sagan.
Margaret, I got the council plays God by claiming to know Nalop's will from beyond the grave. What was the question part of that?
Why is that worrisome?
Oh, okay, thank you. Why? So that kind of reminds me, like that whole aspect of it, kind of reminds me of the, not gypsies, although they were pretending to be gypsies, the fortune tellers after World War I. that were like trying to
Spiritualism.
the whole spiritualism movement that happened after World War I that was banking off of all these mothers losing their sons. And like
everybody losing
everybody.
Well, everyone losing everyone, but mainly it was mothers that were like the massive prey, right? So, and that they were like, we can, you know, we're going to connect to whoever you lost, and they'll tell you what you need to do from beyond the grave. And that's how they had them, like, give money to people and just do all these horrible, evil things.
I would argue that you're generalizing the spiritualism movement, but that did occur, yes.
Oh, I'm generalizing, but that aspect of them saying Nollop is telling us this from the grave made me think of...
Yeah, I think it boils down to the personal gain aspect of it, which was sort of a side effect. I don't know. It was... I suppose the most upsetting part was when they were presented with scientific fact and chose to interpret it through their own lens.
Oh, yeah. That was interesting.
They said, how do you know Nollop's not choosing to relay this through scientific means?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like, we can't talk to you people anymore.
Right.
We're done here.
I'm honestly really surprised at how such a thin book made me think about so many different things.
Yeah.
Like, I basically finished the book in 2 or 3 days, and I was just like...
when you have...
It made me have a lot of feels.
All, like, so many blank spots. But
Right.
because
Yeah, it was short. It was a quick read.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on your own discussion question?
The council plays God, or which one? That one was awesome, right?
From Beyond the Grave. The zombie Nollop one.
Well, I just think it just reminded me of religious fanatics.
Mm-hmm.
I am the Word of God. He's speaking through me. I can feel it, and just because you can't doesn't mean it's not real. And you know, they put fear in you, and that's how they get you, basically.
Yeah, it's weird because like
Fear of God.
it's kind of like, so the island started where we get the island is where it's faith, and faith is fine and cool as long as you're not using it
Against other people, right?
right. Exactly. So like we found them when it was like good faith, and then we started to see them go down bad faith.
And also, it wasn't even a religious faith. It was
That's
a
true.
veneration.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was like, we liked what this guy did. We put a statue up of him. We named our island after him. That's pretty cool.
Right.
And then the council just sort of was all smoking the same weed and decided to make a religion. And because the people of Nollop were not without seemingly some sort of presumably Christian belief.
Was there? I don't know if there was a religion.
They talk about God and how...
Go to church.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember that part of it. Okay.
So...
Yeah.
And I suppose they were honestly genuine in their thoughts because there was no Scooby-Doo reveal.
Oh. Like, okay.
Right, they really believed that Nollop was talking to them from the grave.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, the woman who went crazy really did think that until the very end, and the only reason she didn't think that in the end is because her life was getting turned upside down so much at that point.
Yeah, I don't even know that she didn't believe it wasn't Nollop's will, but she was just willing to work with others.
Yeah.
Because she would, I mean, everyone, even the people that were trying to work on the Experiment 23, I'm not going to get it right.
Enterprise 32.
Enterprise 32. Like, they still all adhered to the rules. Like, they could have just said, whatever, I'm going to write on it.
But
like,
the thing is that there were people who did say whatever, and then they were taken off the island.
But you're in a secret meeting with the secret people. Like, there were no betrayers.
Dude. Walls have ears. You would be terrible in a secret society.
I'm bad at it.
I can't keep secrets. I told everybody.
I tried to play this game with the Cards Against Humanity's people. It was called Secret Hitler, and it was a very fun game, but it involves so much lying And I'm terrible at bluffing games because I'm not good at it.
Don't ever ask Donovan to be in a resistance with you, okay? She would just be terrible.
She's cracking already. I see it.
Yeah. God.
Nope.
Gee,
I would
willikers.
definitely have been a silent person on the island.
Have
I would
her,
be
yeah.
like,
She would be
not saying a
silent, and
word.
then we would just get have her whack people with her machete or something.
just under cover of darkness.
Yeah.
So I told Tony about this book, and I told him how the last few letters were so hard for me to read, and I was having to read them out loud because to say it phonetically, you know. So I had him read a few pages out loud. It was pretty funny. He just wrote some notes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He said language as a tool versus language as art. I was surprised how it was still possible to understand the last few letters without most of the letters from the alphabet.
Yeah, so there's actually like a scientific thing that someone did where if the first letter and the last letter of a word are correct and all the other letters are jumbled up, you can still read it. And someone
They have to be the right letters, though.
They have to be the right letters.
Yeah.
So right, but the first and the last letter have to be in their proper places, and all the other right letters in that word can get jumbled up. And if you write an entire paragraph like that, you will actually understand the entire thing.
Mm-hmm. And you won't even notice.
No, you do
that
notice.
It's written wrong.
No, you do notice.
I've done it though, where they show you the sentence and they're like, "Now what was wrong with the sentence?" And you look back and it's like all totally wrong.
You don't pay attention when you read them.
I don't.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And Tony didn't read all the book, but he said, why didn't they just learn Japanese or Chinese or Korean or Arabic or Hebrew?
Well, the problem with that though is that you need the right letters.
Sure.
Well, not if you have Japanese. Japanese is an
But in order to know that A is whatever, and also they got rid of all their damn books. I'm sure they had Japanese language books there,
Yeah.
but they got rid of all of them.
Yes, it would have been very difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not that easy to learn another language. At one point, they were like, we're just going to learn Hawaiian.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm sure that it would be easy if there was someone on the island that already knew the language. Like, you couldn't get it from books. Dude, I almost cried about them, like, throwing away all those books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just seems so extreme. It went from Z to extreme so
Right.
quickly.
In like 4 days.
Yeah. That was crazy. I don't know. All right, next discussion question, because you got some good ones.
Okay, I only have one more.
Okay.
So I read that this novel is more like a fable.
Yeah.
It was so short, but obviously you got so many things from it. What's the moral of this fable?
Pretty sure it has something to do with not having common sense about things.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think the moral is?
Man, this is a really good question. Damn you for asking us such a good question. I think it has more to do with, like, the amount of power that we put in authority. And the first thought I had was when they were like, oh, well, Z's not a big deal, you can get rid of Z. As someone who has 2 Z's in their last name, that's a freaking problem for me.
Right.
So I was like, okay, but even giving away 1 letter, like, you're already surrendering
Right.
people.
Yeah, even small,
Yeah.
what's the word I'm looking for? Acquiescences?
Yeah, like, and then and you know, she said it, like, okay, if it starts with this, where does it end? And I wasn't even thinking about the alphabet. I was more like, if they're like, well, we took away Z and it was no big deal, what if we just say, like, there's no school anymore? Will they just roll over, you know? And it kind of ends up that way, but I guess it's like little things are big things.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
You give away the little things where it might be a little thing to you, but it's not to your friend or your brother or your teacher.
Yeah.
I think the moral is the danger in kind of following along with rules that you inherently don't believe in.
That's a good one. Yeah.
or if Ella, when she first heard it, was already suspicious or worried or apprehensive about it, and then still going along with it, like, what good was that?
Yeah, like, if could everything had been prevented if, when Z fell, people just said, straight up told the council, no.
Right. What if somebody
no,
just...
you're dumb.
Right.
Yeah.
So...
That's interesting. Like, what would have happened? Would it just been, like, if they would have tried to cut them off early, would it have been even worse? Like, they'd be like, oh, there's a resistance building, so we need to, like, snap this right now. And then maybe they never would have been able to do anything, or that this whole thing just wouldn't have happened. You know?
Well, I mean, that's
I think it depends on how many people were resisting.
Yeah.
If it was just Ella, or if it was every teenager, if it was everyone in the town as opposed to everyone in the village, like, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, because they do. I mean, the author gives you those towngate people,
The Georgette, who are like, the council's right, follow it.
People that fully support the council.
Yeah, it's interesting because it is like we're kind of in the liberal bubble in this book, right?
Sure.
Because we're reading the notes from the people who are against it. So it was good to also to see that there were people that were with the council. I don't know how many people actually were, though. Was it a small amount? And it's just like,
I don't.
You know?
I mean, because this is a book in letters, you have a much... We have a wider pool of characters than I would have thought, but it's still... It's a small sample size.
I have to assume that a lot of people were with the council, or at least using it to their benefit, because it seemed like in the first months, like 70 people were gone.
Yeah.
And it's not like husbands and wives and brothers and sisters were turning each other in. It was neighbors. And, you know.
It was weird, though, too, that, like, there's something to be said about the people who just left and didn't even fight. I thought if we want to talk about morals to a fable, I think that might be a secondary one. That it's like, it's your people, it's your friends, it's your family that are being like whipped and like being left, or being asked to leave the island, and you're just gonna leave? Like, you're not gonna fight for those people?
Yeah.
That to me was interesting, and I was like, I get that they want to leave because it's easier, but
I almost see leaving the island as a form, without being banished, like self-imposed exile, as a form of protest against the council.
Yeah, but you're not doing anything. You're just leaving other people to fight your battle, basically.
I don't know. I think you've opted out.
Another reason why I don't want you on my resistance. So I also thought it was funny that they were like, okay, so we can't use this word anymore, so now we're going to make up words for, like, the days of the week.
Oh, yeah.
And what were they? They were, like, so funny. Okay, so Tuesday, this is already when they started getting into, like, phonetic. Sunshine. And then people had to change their names. Nostromo, it looks like it was November or something. Oh, yeah, Sunshine.
Yeah, that was way later.
Oh, okay. Sato Gato, no Trump 4.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets quite... Yeah, that's what I meant about the language changing.
Yeah, I had to, obviously I knew that at the top of the letter it was the day and date. I was like, Sato Gato. It took me a while to remember that.
I mean, yeah, if it eventually, that none of the alphabet was left, they would have just had to invent a completely different language, I guess.
Yeah.
You can't just be silent.
It's nonsensical, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, unless only one letter hung for the rest of the time. I found it interesting, too, that there's several O's or whatever, so then you have to, like, reduce the amount of times you use O by 25%.
And they said, how are they going to enforce that?
Yeah.
impossible.
Yeah, I thought that was super funny. Hang on.
But yeah, I mean, I would definitely read. Am I right in thinking that he has written other books in this universe? Isn't there another one?
Yeah, it said at the end. I don't know which is the other one.
Because I would totally. I mean, I liked this book enough that I would read another L.W.A book.
My book has to have a thing in the front, like the Law and Order thing that says, "This is a work of fiction. Name characters and places and incidents."
All books have that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, all fiction books have that.
I did not know that. Interesting. Oh, you know what word I did look up? Lipogrammic. That is the one word I looked up, because I was wondering what the heck lipogrammic meant.
What was it?
I can't remember now. I'll look it up right now.
Okay.
Yeah. I do not
Look
remember.
at so many words that it made sense when I was reading it in context, but now that you ask me again, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you have to read something like
A lipogram is from ancient Greek, and it means leaving out a letter. It's a kind of constrained writing or word game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like-
it's exactly what it was. Does what it says on the tin.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, we have 12 more minutes. Is there any other thoughts that we have that before we wrap it up?
Let me look through my notes.
Do we do favorite part?
You asked that, and then I told you interrupted.
Oh.
So, what was your favorite part, Donovan?
I just really liked the romances a lot. I liked Aunt Mittie's blossoming romance with Rory the grocer, and I liked the love story between Nate and Cassie. And I found it weird, but again, I say weird. I suppose it is a quality of people from Nallup that they do write their feelings out about one another in letters.
Mm-hmm.
And because that's how they express themselves. It felt so personal to see those things written out to, like, your family members. Like, I might write a letter like that to Dylan about Dylan, but I don't know that I would write a letter that explicitly loving Dylan to you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's take away, this is our homework from this novel, what we learned. Appreciate one another more and tell everyone else about it, even if they don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked the letters from Amos to Ella's mom. I can't remember her name.
Ella's mom.
Wait, who's Amos again?
Amos is Ella's dad.
Ella's dad.
Oh, yeah. I remember now.
Before he became a drunk again.
Yeah. But
I like the idea of, like, leaving letters on the kitchen table.
Yeah. Or like on the notes, like, you were taking a bath, I didn't want to bother you.
Yeah. I mean, before I had a phone that could text message, that's what I did all the time with, Croc. I would just leave little notes.
Yeah, but that's like a Post-it note. That's not like a letter. It's not the same. Don't pretend it's the same.
It's not a letter, no. And yeah, and well, I leave him a note when I leave on a plane or something like that, and he's not home when I'm leaving, know. I leave those kind of things, but it's normally like drawings of, like, the cat or something.
Don't forget to feed the cat.
No, it's more like have fun partying with the cat while I'm away or something like that. I like the romances too. I specifically liked Tassie's and Nate's romance, and I liked it when, well, it was kind of sad for me to see Tassie leave her mom, but I liked that she was getting out from the wilderness or whatever and moving into the city. I like that she was going there with her,
She was 19. It was time to leave home. But she was in love with Nate before he even got there.
Was she?
I I think she was interested in him,
Yeah.
but I don't think she loved him until they had actually, like...
Right, it wasn't real until he got there and she got to interact and see how he was. But she was, like, very excited about him coming.
She definitely had her eyes on the prize with that one, sure.
Right. And she also did something pretty risky for him, and she didn't even know him.
Yeah,
her whole family did.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, so when I first read about Nate, I assumed he was like 30.
Right. You hear about these, like, journalists, but then he's, like, 22 or something. I don't know how old he was.
Oh, wait, and then how old is Tassie supposed to be?
19, 18, something like that.
Oh, I guess it's not a terrible age gap.
I mean, women are so much more mature than men. It's okay. It's okay if the woman's younger.
Yeah, Donovan and I say that not really a maturity thing, but more like a vision thing. Dudes have boy eyes, and they don't like look under things
Or around.
or around.
Or behind.
Yeah, it's like, where's the thing? And it's like under here.
Fair.
Yeah. That's, I mean, yeah.
Callie, does your shirt say something?
It's from Maiden Voyage.
Yeah. I don't know what it says. What does it say? 9 lives to live.
9 lives to live, 9 lives to give.
Yeah. I think I bought it last Renegade Fair, actually, in San Francisco.
It's cute. I just saw the cat. I saw the collar. Like
Yeah.
a collar, not a... And then the flags.
Yeah, I bought this shirt from Maiden Voyage, and I bought their what does it say with the Bigfoot shirt? You have
the Cryptozoologic Society.
Cryptozoologic Society, and it has like a big Bigfoot, and then the Jersey Devil, and like basically all that kind of stuff. And Donovan liked it so much that she bought one for herself. And I think then Cara Lee came to visit our booth, and she bought one for herself without knowing that we bought them too. So the 3 of us have the same shirt from Maiden Voyage.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think we covered it pretty thoroughly. Do you want to tell people what the next book is?
Yeah, the next book is Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie, and I don't know much about it. I think Donovan told me it was a detective story.
I read it. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Sweetness at the bottom of the pie?
The Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie. It's from what I remember, it's a mystery, and it involves stamp collecting.
Okay. I thought, since she said it was like a mystery or a detective story, I thought it would be fun for October with Halloween and whatnot. And then recently I was walking through the bookstore and I saw 2 books that are revolving around letters, like 2 new books. So I think I might have them. I'm going to see what the reviews are on them, and then I'll see if we can have it for the next few books. But
Sweet.
Yeah. And then would you like to say who our special guest is for next time?
I don't remember. You should say it because you obviously
Melissa
remember.
I don't know.
from Craftgasm.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Melissa from Craftgasm will be joining us next time. In October, I can't remember what the actual date is. So check Twitter.
It'll be on our events page.
Yeah, because obviously Margaret is more put together than we are, since she had discussion questions and we did not.
I honestly remember you guys being like, come up with a few discussion questions, but maybe that didn't happen.
I don't think
We're smart.
No, I don't think we told her that. I think you came up with that yourself. I'm going to have to read through the email because I think you said, do I need to come up with discussion questions? And I probably was like,
no.
All right. That was self-imposed.
Yeah, I'm glad that you did it,
awesome.
though. Yeah. But,
best.
I mean, like, frankly, I was more... I guess I just wasn't expecting to get out of this book as much as I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't expecting to like the book as much as I did at all. I don't know why. I went into it very biased.
I was kind of apprehensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I don't know. It was a good book, and I would recommend it to anyone who hasn't read it yet. It's really quick read. It's really good. Lots of feels, lots of thoughts.
So many feels.
Yeah. thank you so much, Margaret, for joining
Thank
us.
you
You're
so
super
much.
awesome.
Despite
Yeah.
the technical difficulties, I'm glad this worked out.
Yeah, Margaret had some video card issues, but everything's all cool now.
And my computer
So
out the window.
many thanks to your husband for allowing you to use his laptop for this purpose.
Yeah. And also for his participation.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's like a silent participant.
Oh, he wrote notes. His notes got read. It's all good, you know. Yeah.
Here, he's copy handwriting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Delightful.
Worked out.
But his notes got read for the thing. Yeah.
He read 4 pages of that book. But I told him I am like really good at, I mean, some people say I'm really bad at synopsis. My favorite thing to say is long story longer instead of short. Get it?
Yeah.
I was asking Cody if he got it because I always ask him that and he's annoyed.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for the discussion.
Thanks,
Live or via the future.
Right.
Yeah.
Or the past.
Or the past, whatever.
I guess it would be the future, but we're in the past.
We're in the past.
They're in the future.
They're in the future.
Okay.
You're making this confusing, and we're not haven't even talked about a time book yet. Whatever, time travel book. Yes, the next book is the Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know who the author is. I don't know the date of the next discussion. Totally on the ball, but it's on our Goodreads page, so you can look up the group Letter Writers Alliance in Goodreads, and you can find all the information, and it will also be on our events page under letterwriters.org. And thanks a lot again for Margaret joining us as our special guest who prepared more than we did.
Definitely check out our stuff at paperpastries.com.
Yeah, if you like cats, she's your lady because she's got some awesome rubber stamps.
Cats and letters.
Oh yeah, really good rubber stamps that you can put your address in, and I need to order that from you actually now that I've moved.
Yes.
And I have a permanent address.
Congratulations on buying a home.
Yeah, that was totally not stressful in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, all right, bye guys. Thank you so much for joining us again today.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.